Welcome back to the channel. Today I've made some more pork bone broth and I'm going to be canning it up in 1.5 pint jars. So I wanted to kind of go through how I can, since I've really not done a lengthy video on this. Let me show you what I got going on right here. So in there, it's a couple inches from the bottom just of water. You don't need it so high, just a couple inches off the bottom is good. My rack is down there to keep the jars off the bottom of the canner. That's very important to do. And I have my timer set on my Carry slow cooker, pressure cooker, rice cooker, you know, one of those all-in-one deals. I got it set for 30 minutes. And I'm going to add some white vinegar in there to help keep the water stains off there, like your calcium. I got soft water in the sink, but it's still, I get a lot of deposits on the side of my jar, so I want to try to keep them clean. So I'm going to add a little bit of white vinegar in here. About that much, because you know, I rarely measure things unless I'm making a specific recipe. And I've already strained out my bone broth from the slow cooker in this here big stainless steel mixing bowl. But I got a finer strainer that I got over my funnel to strain out the most that I can out of my bone broth. I'm going to take my ladle, put it all really close. I better shut my lid while the canner's warming up, huh? Yep, do a lot of humming or whatever else. Maybe watch some YouTube videos while I do this. And I'm going to aim to leave about an inch of head space at the top, so it looks like this now. That's about an inch, because from my knuckle down to the bottom of my fingernail is about 1 inch. And I think I got that nailed. So I'll get back as soon as I finish doing the rest of these jars. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to take my little jar of white vinegar here and dip a half piece of a half paper towel roll, so technically it's a quarter, right? And I'm going to wipe these lids down really good. So that way I ensure a good seal on my my jars. Ooh, let's get a little bit more. Look how nice and dark this bone broth turned out. I will talk about that a little bit. I had that on high for about 10 hours the first day and on low the rest of the time. And I cooked this for 3 days now. And all the marrow came out. I broke up the bone pieces. I scraped out marrow. I melted some cartilage in there to help out with my knee degeneration and with hair, skin, and nails. That's your collagen. And people will spend a lot of money buying powders of just collagen and stuff and supplements. And I went to the Kroger and I just was curious. A little powder thing about this big was about $42. And I made this out of bones that people would just throw out. And I also put in turmeric, which helps with inflammation and anti-cancer properties, and black pepper to help absorb the turmeric and to help with those properties. I put in ginger because that's also anti-inflammatory, and it's good for like belly issues and stuff. If your belly hurts, ginger, like they tell you for ladies for morning sickness and stuff when they're pregnant, use ginger. I also put in garlic. Garlic is good for your heart. It tastes good. I use pink Himalayan salt in there. What else did I put in there? Shiitake mushrooms. I put in carrots and onions and celery, and it was just the food scraps that I used, things that I would have composted or thrown away. I saved them in a freezer bag in my freezer specifically for bone broths. So now that I have all these lids wiped down, I'll put my fancy lid back on my little vinegar container here. I've got my lids and my rings. I'm just going to tighten them down hand tight. Whoa, I was going to cross thread that one. Okay, so now Ed's Crazy Homestead and Fishes and Loaves Life, I got the clawy thingy. Yeah, the clawy thingy. Just so everybody knows, that is a technical term that we came up with. And I am going to go ahead and insert these into the canner here. Pressure cooker, or whatever you want to call it. By the way, I did want to let you know where I found out that white vinegar in the water for inside of here, for the water like polluting up the sides of your jars. It was from Sweet Savory Words. She reads the Bible, usually like it's twice a day, and she also does other things on the side, and one thing she does do is can. And she was canning, and you could see the difference between her jars when they came out, which one she used the vinegar in and which one she forgot to put it in. So I did want to point that out and shout her out for that. Oh, come on, I don't have room for this last jar. That's okay, I'll run another batch after this is done. So I'm going to go ahead and close the lid. And let me show you. On the side here, you can see where it says open and close. Sometimes you got to finick with it a little bit to get it to close. I'm going to make sure it is on exhaust and not airtight, and my airtight is right here in the middle. So I'm going to let that steam out for 10 minutes. Once it starts going, I'm going to get my timer going. It'll let me know, and then I will turn it from exhaust to airtight. See those little wisps starting to come up? Not yet. Now's not the time to start the timer yet. Hang on, it's getting there. This is what they're referring to as coning. When it starts coning out of the top, you've got a nice cylinder cone of steam. I don't know if it's going to pick up. Maybe I need to shut this blind. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it looks like a cone of steam coming out, and it's coming out pretty strong. So now is about the time I would start the timer. You could even go a little bit stronger than that. It's just starting. I might go ahead and start the timer for 11 minutes just because I know real quickly it's going to be putting out the cone that I want. Going stronger and stronger. Really trying to get this to pick up. Yeah, it's kind of hard to catch on camera because it is steam. So I went ahead and started the timer for 11 minutes because I wanted to get the timer started. I was going to sit down and catch up with some more videos and do other things. So I didn't want to have to worry about this so much. So I think 11 minutes is going to be safe. Now we can really start seeing that cone, at least I can, against the cabinets here. So we're good. I did want to mention really quick before I forgot, I did put about 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar in my bone broth recipe. It really is important because it will help break down the bones and the cartilage to get those nutrients that you want out of those bones. So don't forget your apple cider vinegar. You really won't taste it in your bone broth, I promise. I used this one, and then I bought this one for my backup. Really good organic vinegars with the mother in it. I'm trying to use the best ingredients that I can while trying to save money, so that's where I'm coming from. Okay, the timer is up, so let's go put that bad boy on airtight. All I have to do is that. then we have to wait for the timer to cook up, catch up with it, make sure it's the proper temperature, make sure it's sealed, pressurized right in there. And then when I do my time, I can move it here, up or down. Obviously, you can hold it, make it go faster, or keep doing this and get a little bit at a time. And it's going to, again, pressure cook for 30 minutes. So I'll catch up with you after that. It says off. It's done. I'm going to go ahead and release this pressure and let it all out. This can take some time. You got to just be patient. Okay, now it's time to open the lid. Ooh. These are some cans that my neighbor gave me, and they dented. Oh, yeah, you could see the steam coming out of there. They probably did not seal, and so I will stick them in the fridge or in the freezer and drink those up first for sure. I remember I can't remember the exact brand of these jars, but this was the whole kit that came together. And yeah, it was, I can't remember what brand it was. It wasn't Ball. And that's all right though. We will make do. We'll throw those out. Hopefully I can find some more wide mouth canning lids, some Ball ones at some point anyway, and replace them. We'll go ahead and let them finish out here though. Yeah. I don't think these are just going to have to go into the fridge or the freezer. But these other two, they sealed off pretty nice. So yeah, with canning comes different experiences and different experiments. And if something doesn't seal right, doesn't mean you have to trash it. You just use it first, or you could freeze it. You could stick that whole jar in a freezer and it'll be just fine. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit out. I'm going to run another batch. But look, the vinegar in the water, my jars are not cloudy. So I am super pleased. I will leave a link in the description box of the benefits of bone marrow and, why we should be doing this or consider doing it instead of just trashing it. And you could play around with your ingredients. I should have stuck some thyme in there too. If you don't like something, don't put it in there or use less of it. Make your broth your own. Broths are supposed to be feel good, taste good things, right? Comforting. And so that's what I aim to do with my broths. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, give it a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing. And I love you, and so does Jesus. God bless.